Happy day, everybody. I am Pat, and I just wanted to say welcome to my war room, and we'll get to what that war room is in just a minute. But I just wanted to thank you for tuning in. Remember, like, love, and share. Subscribe to the YouTube videos, that way anytime, and get notifications as I'm uploading once, 2 or 3 times a week, depending on what's going on. You'll be able to be notified and know exactly when new journal questions are coming up, new war room activities happening, verses, journal questions, all of those fun kind of things will be popping up on the YouTube channel and Instagram and Facebook, and just making sure you have all of those notifications set. But with YouTube, like and subscribe. So, where do we get started? This is my war room. This is where I will be praying, will be journaling, will be referencing the Kendrick Brothers, the movie, The War Room, that Priscilla Schreiber starred in. And we're just going to be doing a whole lot of talking about how good God can be, especially as you're developing your relationship to get closer to the Lord. And just so that you know that this isn't just something off the top of my head, in your Bibles, if you have them close by, or if you're not sure where it is, Habakkuk 1:17. It starts out by saying, I will stand at my watch, and I will station myself at the ramparts. And we're in our war room. That's what we're doing. We're standing our ground. We're standing by the ramparts. And it's mainly so that as we're getting closer to the Lord and we're journaling. In chapter 2, verse 2 and 3, we see that if we write down the revelation and make it plain on tablets so that a herald may run with it. For the revelation awaits at an appointed time and speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it lingers, wait for it, and it will certainly come with no delay. One of the best parts about journaling and developing that relationship with the Lord is through your journaling and through our prayer time and through seeking the Lord diligently and fervently. We develop a relationship with him because he's listening to us and he's talking to us as well. We just have to wait and write it down as he's saying it, because I don't know about you, but sometimes I'll hear something and I'll think, oh, I'll remember that later, and then I don't. So one of the things about journaling is it allows us to have that focused, diligent, intentional time with the Lord so that we can write these things down and then go back and look at it later while we're waiting for the prayer request, while we're waiting for his answer to the question to be revealed to us. Sometimes it's instantaneously, and sometimes we have to wait a while. And so one of the things that I get excited about is journaling. And journaling is a great way just to intentionally focus our thoughts, our minds, our spirits, our life to develop that closer relationship with God. So as we're moving forward in our war room and in our discussions and bringing everything together for that, we want to remember that there are 7 main parts to journaling that are our responsibility. Not God's, not my brother's, not my husband's, not my children, my responsibility. So get a notebook. It doesn't matter what kind of notebook you have. I like just these regular, loose, open up. I can fold it back, have a hard thing to write on. If I don't happen to be in my room or sitting at a desk, I'm sitting in a chair. But I will have my journal available so that I can write in it when I have the time. But I try to be very intentional and start writing first thing in the morning. That way it's fresh, I've dedicated that time, and I don't have to figure out a time later in the day after I'm tired, when I'm cooking, when I'm cleaning, when I'm whatevering. If I do it first thing in the morning, it's that intentional time is so, so important. So whenever we're journaling, there are 7 main things that we want to do and focus in on. First, we want to talk about gratitude, what we're grateful for. You know, dear Lord, I'm so grateful that my husband got that job. Dear Lord, I'm so grateful the price of gas went down this week for my budget. Lord, thank you so much for allowing these things to happen so that I can see the good or the plan that you had all along. Lord, thank you that my rent didn't go up. Anything that you're grateful for is what you want to share with the Lord that you're grateful for that morning. Sometimes we're just darn grateful that we woke up today, and that's okay. Make that what you're grateful for today. The second thing is we want to confess anything. Now, I'm not saying we're all a boatload of sinners and we sin all day, all the time, but sometimes we do slip. And sometimes we do some things during the day that we regret, or we wish we hadn't have done, or we wish we would have said better, differently. So we just want to confess those moments to the Lord. We want to make sure we have a clean heart, that there's nothing in there to distract us from what God is telling us and asking us to do. Then we want to ask for forgiveness for it and be forgiven for whatever that was. Doesn't matter how big or small. Sometimes it's just, I knew I shouldn't have spread that word. I knew I should have kept that to myself and not gossiped about it. I know, Lord, the sign said $2.58, but I said $2.38 to the cashier because, 20 cents. All of these little things that add up. We don't have to have a big sin. Sometimes it's these little ones that are like little chihuahuas nipping at our heels. Then we want to just take some time and ask God a question for the day. And sometimes it's just a simple, Lord, which door should I go through? God, I see this and I don't know what to do about it next. God, help me to communicate better with my son. Lord, help me to find that better job. Lord, which job should I be taking? How do I do that, Lord? And in our own lives, there are things that come up all the time that we just want to ask God about. And then just write it down. Whatever's coming to your mind, just write down what God is sharing with you, or you feel the Spirit or that sweet, soft voice. Just write it down and just keep writing. Sometimes it's a word, sometimes it's a sentence, sometimes it's 2 pages. It's just on where you are and what you feel like the Lord is saying to you. Then follow through. Be consistent, follow through with what God is telling you to do or sharing with you, or what you feel like is the next right step. And then be consistent with journaling, making sure you're doing it every day, all of the time, as often as you can. You want to be consistent with what you're journaling with. Now, when you're journaling, you always want to have a nice, quiet spot. You want to have no distractions going on. Sometimes you like to have, and I am a big fan of, having soft, quiet worship music playing in the background to help my mind slow down and focus in on what I'm doing. My husband, dead silence. It has to be no music, no anything going on, because the music is distracting when he's trying to focus in and be intentional with his journaling. So we have learned our quiet spaces have to be in different places. We can't do it together. Some married couples can do it together, but we just can't. We have to be in separate places because I like to have music and he needs dead silence. So this is my quiet space, and I'm calling it Pat's War Room because a few years ago, the Kendrick brothers, Alex and Steven, did a great movie called The War Room. And Priscilla Shriver starred in it, and it was a great movie to help you, to inspire you, to instill in you the importance of having a quiet place to talk to the Lord, to pray to the Lord. And Matthew 6:6 says, "But you, when you pray, go in your room, close your door, and pray to your Father who in secret, and in your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you." And, in that movie, they showed how it was a room in the house. Or she cleaned out a closet so she could have her whole closet being a part of that. And I encourage you that for those of us that have the opportunity where we can create a space where that room is completely dedicated as your war room, I encourage you to do that. Some of us live in smaller homes where we don't have that extra closet, where that extra room isn't there. I absolutely live in that. My husband and I live in an 800 square foot, 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment. There's not a whole lot of quiet room in here. But what I was able to do is in my office where I work, because I work from home, I have this board behind me and I have file cards on it, and I can turn myself away from my computers and my desk, and I can just use that space as my war room. And it's dedicated space for that war room. So I can have the quiet space to journal with God, and I can have that quiet space to pray and prepare myself for war. On either side, my husband was a Marine, and so we have that in our home, and being prepared for war, we kind of have that in there. And so preparing our war room was something we were able to do here. Recently I got the Marine Corps wife, so it just fit perfectly to include that as a part of my war room. And so I encourage you to do those things as well. You may not find a spot in the next day or two, or it may take some effort to find a quiet chair or a quiet spot, and you may not have the ability to have a bendable, foldable wall that you can move to kind of restrict yourself. You may have to have a chair and a journal, and you may have to put your prayer requests on a page in your notebook and just keep building to it and adding to it. Your room is your space, and God doesn't ask us to create a mansion on a hill for our war room, because it's our relationship in our heart. It's our clean hearts that we're working on, and that is the important part of a war room. So I'm looking forward to reaching out to you during the week to share different journal questions about where we are and what we're going. But I would encourage you that for your first journal question, maybe it is, Lord, what is my part? And just simply ask God that while you're journaling this week. Lord, what is my part? And have a great day with it and a great time with it. And please, if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below. Looking forward to talking to you again real soon. Have a terrific day. Bye-bye.